Welcome to the Introverts Toolbox, the podcast where we celebrate the quiet power of introverts and explore tools to help you thrive while staying true to your authentic self. I'm Karen Hewitt, and I'm so glad you're here today. Now, as introverts, we often process the world differently, seeking depth, meaning, and alignment with our values. Well, the year's winding down, and it's the perfect time to pause, reflect, and look ahead to 2025. But how about we approach this task our way? Intentionally, mindfully, and pressure free. So, today we're going to talk about setting goals and standards for the upcoming year in a way that just feels natural, empowering. We're going to explore how introverts can use their unique strengths to craft goals that energize rather than drain. So, let's dive in. Now, before we start planning for 2025, take a minute, let's look back. Now, reflection is one of our greatest tools of introverts. We tend to analyze our experiences deeply, and this can guide us as we set meaningful goals. But don't dig too deep in the reflection, because if you get caught in that like cyclone, it will take up more time than needed. So I'm going to give you a few questions. Do you have a pen and paper ready to write these down? Take a moment to think about these following questions. And if you have to, set a timer. I don't want you to spend more than 2 or 3 minutes on each one. Number one, what worked well for you this year? Go ahead and pause if you need to. All right. Two, what brought you the most peace or the most joy? Again, pause if you need to. Where did you feel most aligned with your authentic self? Go ahead, pause. And conversely, what drained you? What felt like it wasn't serving your goal, your growth? And pause again. All right, so now you're back. You should have written down a few things, and I don't want you to spend too long. And it's really important that we answer these questions honestly, without judgment. We know that we can be our worst critics, so don't do that. This isn't about labeling things as success or failure. It's about gathering information to guide your next steps. For example, if you found yourself saying yes to too many social obligations that left you exhausted, well, that insight could inform a boundary that you want to set for 2025. So when I look at these questions, what worked well for me? Well, I started developing a course for social media. It was something that I could give in without having as much one-on-one connections. So I found that I got into the teaching and the guidance and showcasing how to do things. That really worked well for me because I let my knowledge flow very freely. What brought me in the most joy and peace? Well, it was my kids. Let's be honest, I'm a mom. My kids are always first. But the other thing was coming back into the makeup world. It's something that I love and it feels empowering to me. Where did I feel most aligned with my authentic self? Well, this one, this one actually hit home a lot. I'd spent the last 2 years, which is why we've had such a hiatus, trying to be someone I wasn't because I was being told that was the way to be successful, because I wanted to give back to a nonprofit. However, who I am as a human wasn't right for them. So this is what drained me. I felt like it wasn't serving my growth as well. So this actually answers both questions. So I stopped dealing with that organization, even though I'd served them and been with them and worked hard with them for several years. I realized that they weren't ready to accept me as the pink-haired queer girl who stands for people rather than dollars. Because if you making a decision for money is about putting people down, then I can't be aligned with that. And in that same breath, I found a nonprofit where I served happily and enthusiastically as the VP of operations. And in 2025, I'm executive vice president elect, which is scary and exciting all at once, but it's because I can focus on helping people grow. So look at these questions. How did it feel? And you're really recapping this last year. And again, I hope you didn't spend too long because as introverts, when we spend a long time, we tend to dig in too deep and lose track of what we were trying to do. So next part is we've got to reframe those goal settings for us as introverts because let's be honest, goal setting can feel overwhelming, especially with the hype around ambitious New Year's resolutions. Newsflash, we're not required to follow the crowd. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses and you don't have to do what someone else says because you can do whatever the fuck you want. End of story. This is about you. This is about the things you want to achieve. So, as introverts, we thrive when our goals feel intentional and deeply personal. So, instead of focusing on external achievements like hitting a promotion or running a marathon, well, if that means something to you, go ahead. I'm not here to tell you you're doing it wrong or right. But let's look inward. Let's really think about this on a soul alignment level. I want you to ask yourself, how do I want to feel in 2025? Again, take a couple of minutes, pause, and then come back. What kind of person do I want to become? A couple of minutes. Don't take longer than 2 or 3 minutes. Pause and come back. And finally, what small, consistent actions can I take to move closer to those feelings and that version of myself? So here's an example. If you want to, oh, sorry, got ahead of myself, getting excited here. So pause a couple of minutes and then let's come back. So here's an example. If you want to feel more grounded, your goals may include establishing a morning routine or spending more time in nature. The key is I want you to align your goals with your values. When your goals are rooted in whatever matters most to us, well, guess what? They're more likely to stick. They're less likely to feel like chores and they're more likely to feel like self-care. So to share with you, like, and this is me, I'm speaking from my heart. I'm just being very vulnerable even. How do I want to feel in 2025? I want to feel free. I want to feel happy. I want to feel like I can turn up to something and be me. And I don't care if someone judges me because I look different or maybe I think girls are cute. I mean, get over yourself. I get to be me and I get to be happy. And I'm working on that confidence to be more open about that. What kind of person do I want to become? My goal every year is to be like my mom. My mom is that ideal person that I look up to. She would give the shirt off her back to somebody. She always, always had time for you. And she always called you out on your bullshit. There was no mincing words with that woman. She would turn and go, okay, sweetheart, did you really think that was a good, explain your thought process to me. And it was just such a cool thing to have someone that you just felt like loved you entirely and passionately and completely for yourself, but would still turn around to you and say, honey, not today. So that's who I want to be. That's the kind of person I want to be. And that's the kind of person I strive to every day. And what small, consistent actions am I going to take to become closer to these feelings and that version of myself? One, I'm establishing boundaries. I give way too much of myself to people who don't respect me. They want to utilize my knowledge and information, but at the same time tell the world that I'm not a good person because of who I am or how I feel. I need that boundary to keep myself happy. I need to remind myself that I am worthy and I am able to do these things. But this also comes down to my morning routines, my evening routines, continuing with therapy to overcome some trauma and to deal with my own medical health. This is about me feeling me. So think about this. How do you want to feel like you? What is it that's going to drive you? So now into the step three. Let's do a twist. Let's set standards, not just goals. Because I think that when we set goals, we don't, there's the whole SMART thing, like, no, smart, measure, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic time. But I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I've talked about that before. But how about with a twist? Instead of focusing just on those goals, let's think about the standards you want to set for yourself. And standards are about more about how you show up. What are the boundaries you maintain, and what's the energy you bring to your life? So, an example, okay? A goal might be read 12 books this year. That's a goal. That I don't feel passionate about that. I don't know about you. Tell me if that makes you feel passionate in the comments. Whereas a standard might be prioritize personal growth and make time for reflective reading. Now that sits with me. That sits with me. I want to prioritize personal growth. I want to reflect. I want to feel at peace with what I read. And the beauty of setting standards over goals is that they're adaptable. They're going to give you a guiding principle rather than a rigid target, which for an introvert is far more natural, and we value flexibility and introspection. Also, bonus points, if ADHD, it's really hard for us to set these goals because they feel we're passionate about when we're like, yeah, yeah, let's do it. But as time goes on, they feel overwhelming and they can cause analysis paralysis. They can cause that overwhelm, that shutdown. But if we're going to be setting a standard instead of a goal, that's something that we can work with. That's something that feels more authentically us. I'm curious, what's some of the standards you're going to set now? Step four, I am going to tell you exactly how we're going to break this down into actionable steps. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. I don't want you to feel like this is crazy. And I've been breaking it down throughout the podcast, but this is kind of what we're going to do because I want you to listen to this again and again until you feel like, okay, I have my standards, I have my goals, I have my planning set up. We're going to create a quiet space for reflection because you can't do this reflection with the kids screaming, the TV on, the hustle and bustle of work. Take some time, get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, a glass of wine, glass of vodka. I'm not going to judge. And find a space for you to sit and be uninterrupted and just journal and just think. Because, as introverts, we recharge when we give ourselves that opportunity in solitude. So, this is about you reconnecting with yourself because as the year goes through and we're getting all these things we have to do, we tend to lose track of that because it's all about, well, how can I help this person? What can I do for my boss? My kids need me. Hey, you're important too. So, now I want you to take your piece of paper. We've done the steps above. And we're not going to do a laundry list of goals. We're just not. You're going to split that piece of paper into 3 sections. You're going to literally pick 3 areas, not goals, areas that feel important to you. So, for example, health is an area, relationships are an area, personal growth is an area, business is an area. I don't want you to write, well, I'm going to lose 110 pounds and do 6 marathons. No, health. You've got 3 core areas of focus. In 2025, I will focus on my health. In 2025, I will focus on my family and relationships. And in 2025, I'm going to focus on my business and growth perspective. See, that to me, that feels more authentic. How about you? That feels so much more authentic to me. Now you've got your 3 areas. We're going to break that down into smaller, more manageable steps. For example, let's say your personal growth is your focus. So a micro goal was, hey, I'm going to try and set aside 15 minutes a day to either meditate or read. So my health, I'm going to give you an example using my health because my health has been really important to me recently. I have found out that I have quite a lot that's medically complex with me, and I'm going through treatment, including getting weekly infusions to help rebuild myself. So, micro goals for my health maybe I will spend time each day listening to my body. I will work with a registered dietitian to find the nutrition that works for me. I'm not going to sit here and go, I'm going keto, I'm going carnivore, I'm going vegan. No, I'm going to work with a registered dietitian to find what's going to work for me as a human. These are micro goals, but when I look at it, it all comes under that banner of health. So I'm not going to be like, well, I have 15 goals for health. No, 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 no. I have an area of focus. My focus is my health. And these are some ways that I can handle that. Now, I'm going to give you something that you are going to feel, you're going to laugh at me. You go, no, 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 that's not how this works. That's not how this works. But this is important. And this is something I've neglected in the past. And I don't want you to neglect it either. I want you to plan for rest and recharge. So when you do your calendar, because calendars, honestly, calendars are one of my favorite things. I want you to plan for rest and recharge. So you might say, on Sundays, I do not work and I spend time with my family. I turn off my computer at this time. I put my phone on charge and walk away for how many minutes a day. I just want you to include downtime in your vision because we need that time to reset. We need to rest, and it needs to be a priority, not an afterthought. Because when it becomes an afterthought, we tend to only rest when we're burned out. I want you to attack 2025 with passion and gusto and be able to do the things that you need to do and be successful. And that comes with prioritizing you. And then finally, you're going to put on your schedule regular check ins. Schedule monthly or quarterly check ins with yourself to assess your progress and make adjustments. Newsflash, goals, they're not set in stone. They're a work in progress. And I think sometimes we try and set those goals in stone so much that when we fail them, it's so easy to give up and say, no more, we're not doing it anymore. But here, you have core areas of focus and you're going to check in with yourself. For me, it's going to be every month, specifically on my health and my business, because my health is at the point where I'm seriously ill. And I'm not saying this to get you to feel sorry for me or anything like that. But unless I take that seriously and checking with myself regularly, I'm not going to make the movement I need to make. And that means I need to take supplements. I need to start learning how to exercise in a way that works with my body and its limitations. I need to work with someone to help me understand the foods I can and cannot eat. So I can't just wait for that to be a quarterly thing. I need to do that monthly. Yet some other things, if you set a personal development goal, for example, that your focus is you'll take care of your personal development, that might be something that you can check in quarterly. Maybe that's something that you can check in bi-monthly. I want you to do what feels authentic to yourself, not anyone else. Now, just to bring it up, 2024 has been a challenging year for a lot of us. There's been ups and downs, there's been moments of fear, of panic, there's been sadness, there's been a lot going on. And as you now sit down and prepare for 2025, and some of us are a little nervous about 2025, or some of us are nervous about our careers, some of us are nervous about our education, some of us are nervous about our family, about loved ones. We always have this element of stress when we look forward. And I want to tell you this, you don't have to do it all. And you certainly do not need to do it like anyone else. Your introverted nature is your superpower, and it allows you to see the world with this depth and this clarity. I want you to use that gift to create a year that just feels meaningful and true to yourself. And as I tell you, start small, stay consistent, celebrate your progress along the way. For me, I'm going to celebrate after every infusion. Like, yes, I sat here and I put up with it. And yes, I was uncomfortable, but I did it. And I'm going to celebrate. And I may have Dutch Brothers. That just might be my celebration drink. I haven't decided yet, but it probably will be. And I want you to remember you're enough, just how you are. And every step forward is a victory. And if someone says you're being too much, well, tell them to fuck off and find less because you are not too much. You are enough. You are perfectly you. I would love to hear about your areas of focus. I mean, drop them in the comments wherever you found this, or even email me. I would love to learn more. As we close out, I want to say, thank you for joining me on this episode of the Introvert Toolbox. And if today's discussion resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your goals, your standards for 2025. Feel free to reach out or even share your reflections on social media, tagging us. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more introverts find tools that can help them thrive. And until next time, take care, honor your energy, and keep building that toolbox. It's just uniquely yours, and we can fill it with things that are going to help you thrive. Ciao, my loves.